Well, we are at the NBA's quarter point of the 2024-2025 NBA season. So as we take a brief respite for the knockout round of the pitiful little Adam Silver Invitational, it would not be overly premature to mull over just who is in the driver's seat to take home the king of all regular season awards, the most valuable player. And it was pretty obvious that the NBA's writers and media personnel that vote on this thing went into this season with a pretty clear directive, which was anyone but Nikola Jokic. No way do they want to deal with the historical ramifications of bestowing a guy with a fourth league MVP award, including 4 in 5 seasons. A fourth MVP, after all, would move Jokic into a very select group that currently only includes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, and LeBron James as the only players to win more than 3. While Kareem with 6 and Jordan and Russell with 5 apiece would be the only ones to have more than Jokic, who doesn't even turn 30 until February. And despite the desire of the writers to give it to anyone, literally anyone but him, it doesn't seem like they're going to have any other choice, barring some kind of unforeseen injury, as Jokic is currently lingering around minus 120 in sportsbooks, with the closest player to him at the moment, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who finished runner-up a year ago, sitting at around plus 375 right now. But how is it that Jokic is such an overwhelming favorite? After all, his Denver Nuggets absolutely stink. They are barely over 500, sitting at just 12-10, while their total net differential of plus 1.9 is indicative of a team that will lose in the first round of the playoffs. Good for only 13th best in the NBA currently. This, while Jason Tatum's defending world champion Celtics are on pace to win 65 games, while the aforementioned SGA's Thunder are also looking like a team that will reach a win total into the mid-60s. How is it freaking possible this guy has such a stranglehold on this award? Well, sure, he is in a virtual deadlock with Giannis Antetokounmpo for the current NBA scoring crown, while leading the league in rebounds, and as a true 5-man is not only second in the NBA in assists currently, but also 3-point shooting percentage. And if you drop a 30-plus point triple-double in any era in NBA history, chances are you will be somewhere in the mix for the top individual award. But it goes beyond just that. It goes beyond looking at only a team's win-loss record too, because different teams have a differing amount of talent positioned around these players. There is practically no debating that the Celtics are easily the best team in the league with the most talent, particularly in the starting 5. But not just that, they have the runaway 6th man of the year as well. So realistically, what does 65 wins really mean to Jason Tatum's resume? There is no better testament to a player's overall value to their individual team, and thus in determining who is the most valuable, than a player's on-off numbers. On-off measures the amount of total points per 100 possessions a team scores with a certain player on the floor and with the same player off of the floor. Now, proponents against utilizing this metric to measure value will argue that it is one-sided and that it only gauges offensive production by a team with and without that player. Luckily, though, we can view that same data of the opposing team's offensive rating or per 100 possession scoring rate with that same player on and off the floor. What I am saying is, in a snapshot, look at the amount of points every team scores and gives up with and without the same player on and off of the court to get the total net differential for each player. And to really bear this out, I am looking at the top 5 NBA MVP's odds-on favorite at the quarter point of the season. These odds are an aggregate of the top sports betting sites, and the 5 players in order currently are Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, and Luka Doncic. And again, these on-off numbers I'm about to reveal will be their total net based on the amount of points they add or lose on offense and the amount of points they add or lose on defense, beginning with the player with the 5th best odds to win the award and working up, Luka Doncic, who is currently adding 6.4 points total per 100 possessions, while Jason Tatum, who has the 4th best odds currently, is adding an impressive 12.1 points per 100. And the lion's share of his value comes on the defensive end, as the Celtics only actually score 2.4 points more per 100 possessions with Tatum than without. But the Celtics are markedly worse defensively, giving up 9.8 more points to their opponents per 100 possessions when they don't have Tatum on the court. Working into the 3rd spot on the MVP odds list is former 2-time league MVP and Defensive Player of the Year award winner Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is currently, shockingly, only adding a total of 2.5 points per 100 possessions. And yes, again, that includes both ends of the court. He is adding 7.5 points offensively, but the Bucks are actually allowing 5 more points per 100 possessions to their opponents, with the former 4-time defensive first-team member on the court in order to produce that net of just 2.5. Now working our way to Shai, the second leading candidate at the NBA's quarter point to take the award home, and offensively, he is adding an incredible 16.1 points per 100 possessions he is on the court. However, just like with Giannis, the Oklahoma City Thunder are giving up more points to their opponents this season with this elite 2-way player who finished 7th in the Defensive Player of the Year vote last season to the tune of 3.5 more points per 100 possessions with him. Add it all up with the 16.1 points SGA adds offensively, and his net on-off is plus 12.5 currently, which is the best of the 4 candidates we have viewed thus far, but now we see just exactly why Nikola Jokic is so much more valuable than everyone else. For starters, yes, the Nuggets are better slightly defensively without Jokic on the floor per 100 possessions, and I do mean slightly. They give up 1 point fewer without him per 100 possessions, which is better than the 5 points Giannis gives up and the 3.5 points SGA gives up. But on the offensive end, Jokic is adding an unbelievable 28.1 points per 100 possessions. Thus, factoring that in with the 1 point more he gives up on defense per 100, and Nikola Jokic is currently sitting at plus 27.1 net points added per 100 possessions. And in case you weren't keeping track along the way, that is 27.1 compared to SGA's 12.5. Giannis's 2.5, Tatum's 12.1, and Luka's 6.4. And that is why Jokic has this extreme of an advantage on everyone else, because he is literally twice as valuable as any other player in the field. It is why Nikola Jokic should be the unanimous NBA's MVP this season, even if the Nuggets are barely at or even just below 500, because frankly, we have never seen this level of value in modern NBA history.